What's up, fellow marketers? Professor Walters here, and we're continuing our discussion with social media mission statements. And what we're going to look at now is how do we actually form one, okay? So if you didn't watch our video on what social media mission statements are, watch that video first and then come here to help develop your social media mission statement. And there's a lot of things you really need to consider before you develop your social media mission statement. I mean, one thing you have to think about are kind of identify the emotions you really want to bring out with your social media. Do you want to bring out the humor? Do you want to bring out the feels? Do you want to bring out the intellectual side of people? I mean, think about those. And once you kind of realize the kind of emotions you want to invoke with your social media posts, that can help you kind of form up this mission statement. And from there, I think it's really important to really start considering, knowing and understanding your really core objective that you really want to do with that social media. Because we have the emotions. I want them to feel this, but why do I want them to feel that? What's my reason for doing it? What's the raison d'être? Why am I my reason for being? We have to think about those. What are going to be these objectives out there? So why are you making those posts? What's the reason for that post? Because the thing is in social media, if you're just making a post to make a post in business, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure there's a reason behind it. Because if you're looking at your post and go, I don't know if I should send that, you probably shouldn't, okay? Because your audience isn't going to want that either. So really have that objective out there. We got the emotions we want to kind of evoke. Then we also have the objectives that we're trying to get across and to achieve. And then ask yourself, what value will the people that see my social media, what value will they get out of this? Because that's the thing is, like, when you're looking at those objectives we're trying to get done, do people actually value it? And that's what we have to think about. Because if no one's going to value what we're going to put out there, don't put it out. Put stuff people do value. That's why people subscribe. Think about it. The channels you subscribe to on YouTube or the people you follow on Instagram, why do you do that? Oh, they entertain me. They're funny. They educate me. There's a value. They're bringing value to you. That's why you do it. So when we develop our social media mission statement, we got to make sure, can we give people some guidance? So making sure that we actually are creating value for this audience that we're trying to reach out to. And the thing is what's wonderful about social media, what you have to realize is when you're developing a social media mission statement, what you're trying to do is kind of state the values that your brand would have if it's a person, right? It's really humanizing your brand. Because if you think about it, I mean, I feel like I have a friendship with Delta's Twitter team. I'm like, hey, team Delta Twitter, how y'all doing? Even though I get a different person every time, I feel like I'm talking to the same person. That Delta brand kind of goes through. And so we want to try to think about this with our social media mission statement. How can we help humanize our brand? What can we do about that? That's why now when people think of that Wendy's Twitter, they have a whole perception of what it is, right? It's almost like a real person. And so we want to think about that way. What are the kind of traits that we want our brand to be known for? Like, we want to be known for as an honest company, someone that's working hard for you, that's looking out for our clients. That's what we want to be. Okay, so let's do something about that. Let's get that out there, okay? Because the thing is if your brand is one person, it's kind of easy to control that. But when your brand is 10,000 people working for your company, all right, we got to kind of think about these things and think about what are the things that we're going to do to really represent that humanization of our brand. And social media helps us do that. And that also helps us stay, as we'd say, on brand in our social media mission statement and in our social media, because you don't want to do things that you wouldn't do. It's kind of like when you're like, I think my friend got kidnapped by aliens because he did something totally different. Like, wait a minute, you don't ever go to that bar. Are you really you? Is there some girl out there you like or some boy you like out there? You're like, there's something crazy going on. The same thing will happen with your social media, because if you start posting things that don't make sense, that don't fit with what you usually do, like, wait a minute, something's wrong with my friend, right? And that's kind of like why I would really want to say is you need to make sure you're defining and keeping to those key social media topics that you're going to talk about. So, Professor Walters, what do we talk about? We talk about marketing, business, YouTube, that business atmosphere kind of stuff. We're focusing on that. I'm not doing accounting. I'm not doing, finance. No. We're focusing on more of this business administration kind of stuff. That's our goal. That's our kind of stuff, right? And so I know that. So I know that's the kind of things I need to keep putting out, not random other stuff. Because what happens is if you start posting things that aren't on brand, aren't on topic, eventually people unsubscribe or they unfollow, or they don't even watch your video or look at your post, and then you technically have a subscriber, you have a follower, but they never see your stuff. They never see your posts because they're not engaging with it, because the algorithm will show that, oh, they don't like these posts, they're never commenting, they're never reading it. We won't show it to them, we'll show them something else. That's why it's really important when you're setting out your social media mission statement, you're very clear with how you want to develop that social media. You want to be really clear in terms of what that social media statement will say and what it will represent. And that's why it goes back to realize that maybe I need to have a different social media mission statement for each different social media platform we're on. Because you might have a very different kind of profile on LinkedIn than you have on Instagram. I mean, think about yourselves. You know, if you're a student out there, don't you have that LinkedIn profile? Yes, I am the president of this organization, and I'm a la la la, and I was sigma cum laude, la la la, valedictorian. But then your Instagram's like, hey, you know, you have these different things out there, but you're going for different kind of brands, right? And so for brands, they might want to have different social media mission statements for each one of those things. Now, when you're actually really developing that social media mission statement, there's some things you really need to think about. One, you need it when you develop it, kind of think of it in an ideal way. Because what you want to do is kind of set out a really clear and concise picture of what the future of your social media should be. What's the ideal types of posts we want to have? Oh, we want to have inspiring posts. We want to have fun posts. We want to have posts that relate to the topic of whatever it is we sell. Fine. But you're putting it in that perfect kind of world. And yes, sometimes you'll veer away from that, but our ideal post will be X, Y, or Z, right? And so you kind of think about that. That's why if you ever look at some YouTube channels, Epic Rap Battles of History, they actually have ERB2, Epic Rap Battles, and that's where they have the behind the scenes stuff and the you know, if you want to do a sing-along karaoke with it and stuff, they have that there. But on the main channel, look, our ideal thing here is it's only rap battles. There is no other information on there because they don't want to dilute the brand of Epic Rap Battles of History, okay? So you're thinking about that. Now, the next thing you really want to think about when you're developing this social media mission statement is make sure it's inspirational in terms of that it really should fit into everyone that will be touched by social media. It really fits with our job. It's like, yes, this makes sense. This is exactly what we're doing. So yeah, of course, especially, yes, I'm Patagonia. We're all about sustainability. We're all about doing good things for the earth. We're making sure we're making some good products too, right? And that kind of fits along with what our social media is doing. We're trying to promote, you know, outdoor, healthy, sustainable travel and adventure stuff. Yes, we're doing that. So it really kind of fits. But the thing is when you're developing your social media mission statement, you got to make sure it's very focused, okay? Because it should be clear enough that people can follow. They can read that social media mission statement and go, okay, I know the kind of posts I should be posting here and what I shouldn't be posting. Because if your social media mission statement is talking about a positive, inspirational beacon of light towards all, you're not going to be ripping people down. You're not going to be insulting people for a laugh. You're always going to go positive, okay? Because it really gives you an idea. That's why you want to make sure it's focused. Now, I'm not saying it's got to be like you cannot branch out at all, but you do need to have maybe a little flexibility with it as well, because you want to make sure you give people kind of a leeway out there, because social media changes, social profiles change. I mean, think about it. If your whole social media mission statement is about, we want to keep in contact with, you know, young people. Well, the thing is, young people's social media platforms change all the time. I remember when Facebook was just for young people and now it's for grandmas. And then, you know, I remember when Instagram was just for like the students and then or Twitter, they didn't, nope, not anymore. Then Instagram was the cool thing. Nope, now it's TikTok. So you want to be flexible enough so people realize, look, it's not just about Instagram. It's about, this is our social media mission statement for all visual platforms, visual social media platforms. Okay, so if it's Instagram or Flickr or whatever, you know what you're trying to do. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of that flexibility. And then I think it's really important to say that, look, whatever your social media mission statement is, you got to make sure you can communicate it, okay? Because if you can't communicate it in a way that people can understand it, it's not going to make sense. That's why you don't want to make it too jargony. It's like, look, put it in a way that I can understand what it means. And also make it so you can kind of explain it in a short period of time. Think of your elevator pitch, you know, 2 sentences, 4 sentences, really explain, like, look, this is what we want to do with social media. Boom, there you go. I mean, if I look at it for me, if I look at my Professor Walters channel. So if you think about it, like for me, when I look at it from the Professor Walters Instagram social media mission statement, like what's going to be on there? Well, Professor Walters' Instagram goal is, and I'll read it here, is to spread fact-based positive visual content relating to marketing and business strategy. So on Professor Walters at YouTube or Instagram.com/Professor Walters, are you going to see me do much with my kids? No. Are you going to see me post things about travel? No. What you're going to see me talk about or post on that Instagram for Professor Walters is business tips, business examples, maybe videos, like taking these videos and put it on IGTV there. You're going to see things like that because it really guides me. It's like, nope. Professor Walters does not have any of the family stuff. I don't have the kids come and do videos. I don't interview them. This is just all about business, okay? Now, Walters World, if I look at the other one, I look at the Walters World YouTube channel, their social media mission statement. Look, Walters World uses YouTube in order to educate travelers on the do's and don'ts of travel in order to help promote sustainable, culturally enriching, positive travel in an honest way. So what does that mean? Well, if we look at it from there, the videos for our travel stuff, always keeping a positive attitude, always look on the bright side of things, right? Never talking down about people, right? Never like getting on there and be like, oh, haters gonna hate and you're the worst hater. No, we're not gonna do things like that because it's all about positivity. And the biggest thing is the honestness. So with that honestness, what does that mean in our social media? That means we're not gonna take money to say a place is great when it's not. And so you start to see these things, and that's how it really can influence how you make your posts. You decide what we do make. You know, it's like people go, oh, are you going to go to Chernobyl and do that? Are you going to go to the slums and do that in Sao Paulo or something like that? I'm like, no, we're doing a positive thing. We're not going to look at people in a bad light or go into bad places or places where, you know what, they're people. They're not animals, you know, like we're not going to do that because it fits in. And we see like, look, that mission statement helps. Now, with that, I'm the person doing all of it, so it's easy to control. But the thing is when you have a big company, how do you control what everyone's posting? Because there's different people on the Twitter team and the Facebook team and the YouTube team and stuff like that. That's why you have these mission statements, these social media mission statements to keep people on that path, okay? Because we have mission statements for our businesses, right? So if we look at IKEA's mission statement, IKEA's mission statement is to create a better everyday life for the many people. Well, what does that mean? Well, to create a better life. So what does that mean? Well, whatever we're going to do is trying to bring people up. We're going to have, nicer design for you so you feel like you're living in a nicer place, right? And we're going to have, nicer experiences at our store. When you go to IKEA, you can't help but buy stuff. And you might just get the meatballs when you're there. Hey, why not? It's a better life. I got the IKEA meatballs. And those little, the Bilar, the car candies. Heck yeah. And like the lingonberry. I'm like, dude, my life feels better when I go there. That's what they're trying to do. And so you do that same thing with your social media mission statement. Okay, is figuring out how do we get this across? How do we humanize our brand? How do we make sure that we're always staying on brand in social media? That's what your social media mission statement does. Okay, so I hope this helps you, give you some ideas how you can create your own social media mission statement. It's not easy, but it's something you really should do. And I actually have an assignment for my students that are watching this. You can actually watch the video about the assignment you have to do. And if you're not one of my students, you can look at the assignment as well and help develop a social media mission statement for your company. Bye.